Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today I want to be talking to you about a project that I'm just at the tip of ending and finishing. It's called Scraping the Driving Questions of the Israeli Driving Test. So it all began when I wanted to pass my driving test, and I realized that I wanted to be able to download all the questions and just read it over the weekend. And that's why I created this little project. You'll notice that it's got a three-piece architecture. Step number one is in a browser, we need to go to we need to go to the Israeli DMV site. Once we go to the DMV site, we inject some JavaScript. We can either do it manually or use the WebdriverIO execute JavaScript function. And that JavaScript interacts with the page. I'll even give you a preview of exactly how it works, but it interacts with the page. It looks for specific elements on the page. It actually clicks the question, opens it up, and then it doesn't click correct answer, but you'll notice that every correct answer always has this special ID called span correct answer. And that's, yeah, there you go. ID equals correct answer, and that's pretty much why it was really easy to just open it up, and I used the JavaScript set interval function. And let's have a look at exactly how it works. But in order to set this up, you're going to need to go into this project here. You're going to need to, I wrote all the commands out, git clone, cd into the project, npm install it. Once you've done that, you'll be able to, you need to open up the XAMPP. Okay, so let's do that. XAMPP start. And I've already got all the questions saved. It's 1,200 questions from a total of 4 different sections. And I can query it, but I want to help you guys do your own. This is pretty much what it is. It's the question table with 1,261 rows. We're going to close this up and just start from scratch here with phpMyAdmin. So let's open up localhost/phpMyAdmin. Just take it step by step. Okay. Meanwhile, we can go into the project and demonstrate how the JavaScript injection works. So let's have a look at that. We'll open up Sublime here. Control F, open folder. What was it called? Driving test ebooks. We're escaping the driving test questions. Okay, perfect. Close that up. Let's see what's happening with phpMyAdmin. Okay, boom. So we're going to create a new database. We're going to call it driving questions. And create. And the database has been created. We're going to inject some SQL. And in order to inject the SQL, we're going to go into, as it says over here, import the database SQL file, or just copy paste that into the SQL command query runner. Okay, SQL query runner. So let's go to the database.sql file. Good. And we just take this, create the table. Okay. And go. See if that works. Perfect. So now we've got the question table that's within our new database, but it's totally empty. And let's start filling it up. So I need to go into this file, right? And if it's called the Scraping the Driving Questions. If you go ahead and download this repo, just follow these instructions. Git clone, just 3 commands. Git clone the repo, cd into it, and npm install. The moment that you do that, you're going to have it on your computer, and you're going to need to create something called .env file. Okay. I'm going to create a sample one here. Let's see. You know what? Let me delete the existing one. Ah, damn it. Well, okay. Let's delete that. Next, we're gonna go into. Okay. This is what we need in here. Control S. .env. Perfect. And this is the host. The host isn't going to be localhost in this case because we're running the database on a local computer. The database name is driving questions. The username is root. And we have no password. Root and no password. Perfect. Okay, so that's all done. Now we just cd into it through the command prompt, and we're gonna run node-man server, and that's gonna run our server file over here. We already have the npm packages express.env for the variables. The config file, the database is all running over here. That's what's pulled in through the .env file into this object. And let's see what happened. Okay, good. So it looks like it's working. It's working nicely. Node-man server, and the server is running. So that's good for that. Now we need to do the next steps. Next steps in the equation is to look at the code that actually gets injected. The code that gets injected is in test and specs. You can actually read about it over here. Which code is injected? Maybe I didn't write about it here. The saving process begins with the file in test/spec/savequestions.js. Okay. Let's open that up. And that is actually using WebdriverIO's browser.execute function, but we don't need that at the moment. We just want to try to do it manually first, and then we'll get into using WebdriverIO with this. First, I want to just explain the process. So WebdriverIO will open an automated browser, and it's going to inject this JavaScript into there. And let's have a look at that. It's opening up this page, injecting the JavaScript. It's automatically clicking on the questions one at a time and saving them to the database. So let's see here. You can make this a little bigger. Okay. So it's got the Q&A object. That's important. We can run through the JavaScript a little bit here. We have the save question loop is a set interval, and that happens every 3 seconds, as you can see over here. That's the format of the save. This entire thing is actually just a save interval function, which occurs every 3 seconds. It goes. The list is document.getElements by class name JCE Papa. Yeah, Sheila, how you doing? Okay, fantastic. Hey guys, so let's continue off where we left off. Sorry about that. Let's see. We are at this stage of the game, which is a totally empty database, and we've got our SQL file. We've got a totally empty database, but at least we've got the columns. We take this, we're going to press enter. We've injected the JavaScript in there. And the moment that we inject the JavaScript, it's making a call to localhost 8080/API/driving questions. Every time that it has the question and answer, it's making a post request to it, .post to localhost. And let's see here. See if anything gets saved. This is the moment of truth. It's going to happen. It's going to cycle through only 5 of them. And let's refresh this page on PHPMyAdmin and see whether we have any other new queries. Oof. Damn. Okay, no, nothing happened. Did anything happen? No, nothing got saved. Did anything happen with the server? No. Node1 server, server.js. Where is it listening? Oh, it's on port 3000. Let's try that again. Okay, so stop this. Stop it, just refresh the page. Okay. Gotta make sure. Sorry about that. Okay. Ooh. So that goes to, it's running on localhost. Well, that's on localhost 8080. For now, we're going to make it into 3000 because that's what the server is running on. So we have this server here. Okay, we have a server that's running on localhost 3000. And as you can, we've also got some other stuff. Here we go. It's going to log the question. Perfect. Oh, access denied. A wild error appeared. Access denied. Cannot enqueue query after fatal error. Crap. One sec. Let me try to fix. One sec, guys. Back to meeting. And hey, guys, and we're back. Let's see what happens this time. So, successfully called API. Good. So we're getting a good response back from the server, and there we go. Stuff is starting to get saved, as you can see. It's cycling into the question. The moment that it gets the question, it's going to send that question to the server. It should. Question number 1, 2. Where's the other questions? Okay. And now let's go back in here and see what happened in the question table. Do we have anything in here? Okay. We've only got two questions saved. We got the question ID, the question number, the question, the answer, question save date. Very strange. Very strange. What happened to the other questions? That's the real. Oh, I don't know. All of a sudden, we had those other things. It's only 2 questions. Let's click it again. Maybe it just took some time. Okay, perfect. There we go. Now we've got 5 questions saved. Okay, so we have 5 questions saved, but we can save much more. So again, there's support in this project where if the primary key, we can see from the SQL file, question ID, primary key is the question ID, and the question ID comes from this section, which is over here. This little variable over there is the question ID, and 0 is 43, and that is a good way for us to keep track of which questions we're saving, whether if there's a question which already exists in section 1, and we gather all the data of section 1, then we move on to section 2, and that same old question appears, it's going to skip over it. So let's see exactly what happens. First of all, within JavaScript, within the JavaScript, oh wait, I want to do clear. Sorry. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to refresh the page. Okay. Tell me how you got yourself. Okay, Control V. Oh. Here we are. Okay, localhost 3000. And this time, we don't want the loop to exit after only 5 clicks. I'm sorry, after only five loops. So with the JavaScript set interval function, you also have a friend of it, which is called the clear interval function. And the clear interval, you just set the variable that you saved your set interval function in, and that's how you stop the loop the moment that you do that. So I don't want it to stop after 5 questions, first of all. Secondly, I want to first, I'm going to save this, Control C. And also important over here to make sure that I click on private and commercial vehicles, because that's what I'm interested in. That's the first thing. And I want to go display all. Okay, and of course, if I was to continue this project, I would just automate this process. But right now, because I only have 20 questions on the page right now, and I want to pull all of them. So I think we're just about ready. Make sure to have this page open. Perfect. So we're showing all of the safety section, section 3. Ooh, if it's section 3, I need to write that also in the way that I'm saving it to the database. Because we've got rules and regulations, traffic signs, and safety. So over here, instead of writing section 4, I need to write section 3. Okay, let's see. Section 3, and now we're ready to go. Perfect. And that should hopefully just take us all through section 3. We're in the safety section. Let's see what happens here. Okay. We can't, but we've already got these primary keys. The first 5 questions are not going to work. And that happens sometimes. You know what? So before I run this, I want to just delete those questions. So let's see, close this. And okay, so let's delete everything from the database first. And it's going to be much cleaner. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I want to delete. You know what? Oh, cancel. Unselect all. Show all. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and delete it. Okay, do you really want to delete them? Yes, I do. And now we go again. Verify that it's section 3 that we're saving it to. This is something that needs to be cleaned up within the code. There it goes, section 3, and it's localhost. It's sending it to localhost 3000. Perfect. Okay, and as you can see, our server is still standing. That's very important to be catching it via the API in case the question already exists. You don't want your node server to crash. Okay, perfect. And as you can see, we have the full object that's getting saved in the database. Question number 1, question ID is 43. The question itself, the answer itself, the image URL. I saved it as pizzahut.com because it's empty, but in other cases, this is very strange what's happening. The Chrome console is just choosing not to console stop. I understand. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that's pretty good. It looks like it's pretty much on automatic now. Now it's all totally on automatic. Okay, everything is happening for you. You can even navigate to another page. Let's look at what's happening in our database. So far, we've got already, question number 6. We've got already 6 questions. Okay, great. And that's going to run on automatically. Okay, that's going to all run on automatic. Let's go back into the project for a second and understand what's happening again. So, scraping the driving questions. This can also work with WebdriverIO, an automated browser, but I realized as I was going through it that WebdriverIO was just too complicated. I mean, it was more complex. It's more of WebdriverIO is more of a structure for if you have very large tests that you need to run. If I was to automate some of the processes that I told you now, of automatically going to the section, pressing that I want to view all questions and that I only want to see questions that are specific to what I'm interested in. Let's see. All right, then it would make more sense if we had more complex needs, but based on the current needs, I ended up not needing WebdriverIO in the automated browser. Okay, so now we have 6 questions. We can click on question and see where we're at now. Oh, number of rows, what is that, 25? No, still 6. That's strange. It looks like it may have gotten stuck. We can see here. Question number 6. Question number 8. Looks like the JavaScript keeps getting stuck. Question number 8 and 9 and 10, 11, 12. Something's happening. Okay. 13. Okay, so, well, that's the SQL database side of things. SQL is using a node server. So let's get into, so we've covered a little bit about the things that we're saving. We're saving the question ID, the question number, which means what number it appears on the given page, the text of the question, the text of the answer, the image URL, the question save date, and the section that it's in. We have a total of 4 sections. So let's go into the server now and look at the server. The server is using something, one of the very important section is something called CORS, which is cross-origin resource sharing, which means we've set up an application on localhost, and that application on localhost is just an API. All it does is listen to incoming requests, incoming post requests, and incoming, yes, post requests from API/driving questions. And that's exactly what we're using in here, in the save questions. That's exactly what was injected into the browser. The moment that the JavaScript vanilla.js automation pulls this question and answer object, it pulls the question and answer object with each of the SQL fields that we're interested in. It pulls all these things, the ID, the question, the answer, and then it makes a request to localhost 3000/API/driving questions with the Q&A object. It sends that over as a parameter, sends that over as part of the request, an object, and then it, the moment that it hears back, it does function data, console log data, and this function data is holding whatever we send back from the API. And the API is sending back successfully called API. I could change that to whatever I want. So as, let's take a step back. It's within app.post, we go to localhost 3000/API/driving questions. We have a request and a response. The request is the actual Q&A object. That Q&A object is then put into this, is then kind of transformed into a SQL query. And that SQL query is insert into question, the question save date, the question number, the ID, the answer, the image source, and so on. And then I'm going to take the request.body.question number, request.body.question ID, and so on. It's all part of the body of the request. And then after that, once we have the SQL query string that we want to pass into the database, we then take the connection, we then use the connection.query function, and that passes in the query string and a function that takes in an error. And that's how we're handling the errors. In case of duplicate questions, or in any case where MySQL just wasn't able to process everything smoothly, it'll just throw back an error and console log that error on the server. We see that we actually didn't have any problems on the server so far. Oh, we did have some problems here. Question is, a wild error appeared. Duplicate entry 144 for key, primary key. Okay, so that's already good. Duplicate entry 144. Wonder how this is a duplicate entry. Question ID is 144. We can investigate that to see whether it was a duplicate entry. Let's take this, Control C. And that's still doing its work for us. It just keeps on cycling through the questions. Okay. 144, right? Oh, there's question number 144. Going to the following picture, you are obliged to blank. And there's 144 later on. Why does that happen? One picture here, obliged to. Well, we don't know exactly why it happened, but okay. Is it still working? Yeah, it's still working. Question number 15, it's up to. Looks like we may have run into an error. Let's see how many questions have been saved. Oh, only 14 questions have been saved. That doesn't make sense. Okay. I think I see a little bit of what the problem is. It looks like it's opening up a ton of divs simultaneously. Okay, yeah, we have 3 divs open simultaneously, as you can see. And we don't need these 2 extra divs here because that's just the question popping up here. So we need to delete that div that keeps on popping up there. Okay. Is it working? Question number 14, question number 10. There's question number 23. So why is question number 23 going through smoothly? It could have sometimes to do with the speed of the browser. Make sure you're using a good computer. This one is a little bit slow. Okay, so 626. Let's go back into localhost here. We're going to write a SQL query. Select all from question. Hmm, 29 total, it says. Total of 29 questions saved. So it's not terrible, but I can make some other videos which will go into a little more depth, but this is a good example of just working through it. You're going to have a lot of errors as you're doing your data gathering process, but the basic concept exists, which is you have the automated browser. The automated browser is sending the question and answer object to a Node.js API server. We've set up CORS, cross-origin resource sharing, on our Node.js server, and we're using Express to handle the request, the post request coming in from the browser. And finally, we save all the information to a MySQL database. And I have another video which is all about the Metabase API integration. Essentially, once you're all done, we'll be able to do something like this. See, you'll essentially be able to download everything through Metabase, do the Metabase integration, and there's a couple of other nice benefits of using Metabase as well. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. Feel free to ask questions if they come along. I hope that gave you a good introduction to data gathering with Node.js, vanilla JavaScript, and a MySQL database. And thank you very much. Yeah, what's up?
Do you know how much you pay, like,